Oh my god. What is that? What's what? That! You know that thing that's on fire and growing rapidly? Oh, that. That's our national debt. It's getting pretty bad, huh? Yeah, you should probably do something about it. Nah. The US national debt is something that everybody knows that's getting really bad, but somehow we're just not doing anything about it. 60% of Americans labeled the national debt as a very big problem, and 75% said that reducing the national debt should be a priority for lawmakers. Yet, debt growth year on year looks like a rocket on a mission to Mars. Houston, we have a liftoff. Now you might be thinking, how bad is it and will it affect me? Give it to me straight, doctor. I can take it. Well, allow me to explain. So put simply, the national debt is the United States spending more than it earns. Ma'am, your car's been declined. Can you try this car, please? The US earns money by collecting taxes from its citizens and spends that money on Medicare, Social Security, public facilities, national defense, blah 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 blah. Anyways, we spend money on a lot of stuff and taxes are not enough to cover everything. So the government relies on borrowing money. Can you lend me some cash, please? The government have bonds, and countries, banks, companies, even regular people like me and you can invest in these bonds. In a few years' time, the government will pay them back with interest. But in the meantime, the government now has a bunch of money they can spend. But wait a minute! If we spend all these money, how can the government pay back the money when time comes? Where's my money? Well, it's simple. We just borrow more money. I'm once again asking, can you lend me some cash, please? So the country is always borrowing money and in debt. And the problem is, this debt keeps growing and growing and growing and growing. And now we're at $37 trillion of debt. I wonder how much tuna I can buy with that. One way to see how well we're managing our debt is this chart. Debt to GDP ratio. The lower this number is, the more likely America is able to pay back its debt. And right now, the number is the highest it's been since World War II. Psst, this isn't a good thing. It's actually pretty bad. And it does have an effect on the economy. It's estimated that if we were to lower this ratio to 80%, then the income for the average person would be increased by almost 7%. Doesn't really make sense, right? But that's like 7% more tuna I could buy. I think a lot of people try to ignore this issue and just not talk about it. Hey, the debt is getting pretty bad. I think we should You know, this debt has been growing for a long time. Nothing's happening so far. Can't be that bad, right?
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
Well, it is bad, and there's actually a lot of things to worry about. A lot of things you need to worry about as an American citizen. If you're not, then never mind. I mean, there is a breaking point. Once GDP to debt ratio gets above 200%, it's unsustainable. To avoid this scenario, that gives the government two options, which are both kind of bad. Option 1, they print a bunch of money to pay back the debt, which is good because the debt has been paid off, but also leads to inflation and devaluing of dollars, which is bad for your wallet. Option 2 is that they raise taxes, which is definitely bad for your wallet. And that's not all. The pain didn't stop there. It can also affect your mortgage and more other stuff. When investors lose confidence that the government can pay back its debt, they might demand higher interest on their bonds investment. And historically, when bond interests go up, so do mortgage interest rate, meaning you have to pay more and more for your mortgage. So yeah, good luck getting a house. It's a cruel world which may or may not get worse. I mean, to be honest, it'll most definitely get worse. The debt has been non-stop growing since 2001, but luckily for you, there are a lot of things you can do to prepare. A lot of people who are worried about the state of the national debt often prepare themselves by building their financial resilience. For example, things like investing and diversifying your investments. So holding a mixture of safe returns and high-performing assets like S&P 500, Max 7, government bonds, gold, Bitcoin, just as long as you're not letting your cash sit in a bank and quietly lose value to inflation. This is a no-brainer. It might also be smart to have an emergency fund. 3 to 6 months of expenses gives you the freedom to not worry about sudden inflation or job losses, or jobless, homeless. To be honest, no one knows what will happen in the future. Is this piling debt gonna become a big issue, or it's just nothing to worry about? But do you really want to take that risk? And more importantly, do you really want to take the risk of not subscribing to me, to Cat Finance? At Cat Finance, we make money stuff easy. And our next video is on the AI bubble. So make sure you subscribe right meow.